Gargle here. This is one of the pages of a very important website for Thelema, the magical philosophy of Aleister Crowley, called castletower.org, and I'll put the link in the description box. This is the page dealing with a brief sketch of the Society Ordo Templi Orientis International that currently represents the philosophy of Aleister Crowley as implemented by the OTO, having absorbed much of what Crowley said, and Karl Germer accepted much of Crowley's philosophy, and indeed the whole of Thelema or Thelema and the Book of the Law, and incorporated it into the teachings of the OTO. And I must say that talking about Thelema, like you don't have to join any organisation to be a Thelemite, and you just have to find out your true will and do it, basically, and that makes you a Thelemite. A little bit more complicated than that, because you have to find out what it is about yourself that prevents you from doing your true will. So what are the psychic and mental and psychological blocks that enable you to make a success of whatever it is in life that you want to make a success of? Okay, good luck and bad luck notwithstanding. Or even if you have some bad luck in your life, how can you turn that around and make that work for you? And indeed, the psychological blocks or the psychic blocks which prevent you from doing your true will, they're not just blocks, as in obstacles. They are in fact building blocks. So basically, the question is, how can you turn all the things that are preventing you from doing your true will? How can you turn them round to make them part of the building blocks of your system, which you will implement, by which you will implement your true will. So you don't have to join an organisation to be a Thelemite, but if you want guidance on all this, and if you want by osmosis to reach a point of what one might call Gnostic understanding of your true will, then it's a good idea to join a Thelemic organisation of repute. And this one, the Society Ordo Templi Orientis, is the organisation par excellence, really, for studying Thelema on an everyday practical basis, rather than more of following the magical system of Aleister Crowley, as in Magic Book 4, when you're probably better off joining the Order of the Silver Star in order to understand the magical system, which is basically when you're just looking at all the symbols of magic and symbols that arise in your dreams and other reveries, and trying to analyse them and trying to link them to the process of manifestation of the true will. There is a similar process with the OTO, but it's a little bit more complicated than that and a little bit more secretive than that. But it's all scientific illuminism, in the sense that you will discover everything through methodology, and then you will pass that methodology on to other people or share it with other people, so it may be of benefit to them, and ultimately the corpus of knowledge will be of benefit to humanity, or the wider community at least. And this page goes through a brief sketch of the history of the OTO, which is it's not a very long essay, and it goes into the details of the lineage of the OTO. So lineage is important as far as the OTO is concerned, very similar to the Tibetan Buddhist system, when basically you want to be able to trace the lineage of a Rinpoche all the way back to the Buddha himself. And so basically, just to explain the lineage, Here we have Karl Germer, and basically this is the OTO, and Karl Germer is the head of the OTO, and this is the famous layman of the OTO. And the OTO as a whole has a magical charge, which it defines within its narrative and within its parameters and within its discourse. And that magical charge is concentrated with the Grand Master of the OTO. And he usually, or has to, have a magical successor. And this is the, if you like, the charge, the magical charge, which he, or the rod of power, which he gives to his successor, which in this case was Marcelo Motta. And then on the death of Germer, Marcelo Motta becomes the Grand Master of the OTO, and he is the concentrating the force, if you like, within the sphere of the OTO. And he then gives the rod of power to David Bersson, and then David Bersson then becomes the Grand Master of the OTO, and presumably he has a magical successor in mind, and he will pass the rod of power on to his magical successor, who will then assume the role of the Grand Master. And this is very important, that, and of course Germer received his rod of power from Aleister Crowley, who basically created an inner core to the OTO via the teachings and the magical charge of Thelema itself through Crowley's magical work. So you can see that it's important to connect yourself to Aleister Crowley via Germer, via Motta, via Bersson. And it helps with your perception of Thelema within your life, and it may help you with your mental focus on the tasks that have to be done in order to manifest your true will, in order to live by the creed, do what thou wilt, shall we hold the law, love is the law, love unto will. And so it is important that you choose wisely which OTO you go for, because some look pretty snazzy, but in fact they don't have this lineage. And maybe that doesn't matter to you, maybe that's unimportant. It's only important, I guess, if it is important to you, which is sort of a tautology really, but you have a kind of a psychic feel for a certain representative of Thelema. And I think one of the ways that you can tell a genuine OTO lodge, or tell that this is the genuine society OTO, is that in the language that they use, because we're talking about scientific illuminism here, and the language that is used is very important. So we go from Aleister Crowley's archaic language of, well, sometimes even pre-Tennyson, and we update it to Motta's language of the 1980s, and of David Bersson's to the 90s and the noughties. And then whoever succeeds, whoever takes the rod of power on from Bersson, will again update the language to make it more applicable to modern life. And this is very important. The OTO goes with the change in norms, values, and even beliefs of the society in which it finds itself, a Western society, currently anyway, in America and in Europe. So it's very important to go with the flow of change of human discourse and human language in order to make yourself understood. So that's more or less how you can tell. If an OTO, so-called OTO group, just throws a lot of stuff from Aleister Crowley lifted from I don't know, from anywhere on the internet now, this doesn't actually count for anything, because it's really how the Thelema is interpreted by today's standards and by today's, in accordance to today's society and its norms and values, that we can judge anything to be sort of genuine and authentic in that sense of the word. And you know, I've always tried to look at what Thelema means to me, as I am living, a 53-year-old person living in 2014 or 2015, and who was born in, it was 1961, and grew up with the norms, values, and beliefs of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, and now into the next decade and next century. So I have to move with the times, and I have to communicate what I can of the Lima in the way that is modern for me. But someone else might change the language again and modernise it still further. And hopefully the Society OTO will carry on this process of adaptation and evolution so that it remains relevant to today's society. So it's very important. We're not interested in, masses that are said in Latin or some fucking dead language. We want the language to be living and applicable to modern life as it is now, talking to the people of Western Europe, let us say, in the language that they understand. And by and large, the Society OTO actually does that, although I have to say that, it's yet to modernise itself entirely. I think that there is a kind of let us say, a delay in terms of language change in the OTO. It's all about, it always sort of lags a couple of decades behind modern life because sometimes it's not just a matter of going with fashion. If you're drawn by the nose by the fashion of the day, then you can become very superficial. So you kind of have to delay your language change, and you have to look at modern language, and you have to kind of distill out the essence of that language in order to express the Lima through it. Not just take on board all the fashionable jargon that's knocking around today, because some of it, is here today and gone tomorrow. But that which remains is something that the Society OTO can actually use then to its advantage in communicating the philosophy of Aleister Crowley. So that's my little take on the Society OTO. There are lots of groups around claiming to be OTO, and lots of websites which look very pretty and very inviting. But you can only go with your intuition on this matter. And if your intuition tells you that this is a genuine OTO, then I would go for your intuition and not be confused by claims and counterclaims and what have you. So remember that you're looking basically for where the rod of power has come from and to whom it is given. And to whom it is given is a person that is open to receive the current of initiation. I mean, this could be you, of course, as you progress through the order, receiving gnosis by degrees from the core of the OTO teaching, bounded as it is by its particular sort of philosophy, which connects it to, of course, the entire universe. So this is not a closed border, it's actually connected to the entire universe, of course, but it defines a certain area of it and then concentrates that power and sends that power forth to its initiates who are open to receive the teachings. And again, if there is anything that's stopping you from being open to those teachings, then have a look at what they are, and if you can, either remove them, but more importantly, turn those blocks and obstacles round to your advantage, which is a great secret of becoming more initiated within the order. So